Today I will present our Sulam project for the business law subject, which is taught by Puan Azita. Our group interviewed a small business owner to understand how business law is applied in real business. The business we selected is Nurul Nasi Lemak, owned by Puan Nurul Akma binti Muhammad Jalai. The business started in 2018 and operates as a small roadside food stall beside the old UPSI campus. Puan Nurul Akma prepares nasi lemak and other food every morning. She also serves customers and manages the daily business. She runs the business together with her husband, and the busiest hours are from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. This business is sole proprietorship, which means it is owned and managed by one person. Puan Nurul Akma also receives all the profit, make all business decisions, and is responsible for all business risk and liabilities. Lastly, the business follows Malaysian law. It is registered with SSM under the Registration of Business Act 1956. It is also has the required business license and follows the relevant laws and regulations.
So I'll start off with the registration and legal status. Puan Nurul Nasi Lemak operates as a sole proprietorship. Therefore, it must be registered with the Companies Commission of Malaysia (SSM) under the Registration Business Act 1956. Business registration is a legal requirement before the business can start operating. Moreover, the registration process is very straightforward. The owner chooses a business name, submits the registration application to SSM, pays the registration fees, and receive a business registration certificate. In addition, registering the business is important because it allows the business to operate legally. It also enables the owner to apply for business licenses, open a business bank account, and build trust with the customers and suppliers. If the business is not registered, the owner may face fines or legal actions. It may also be difficult to obtain business licenses and operate legally. Overall, registering with SSM ensures that Puan Nurul Nasi Lemak complies with Malaysian law and can operate as a legitimate business.
Now, I will explain the rights and duties of Puan Nurul Hakma as a sole proprietor. First, let's look at the rights. As a business owner, she has full decision making power. This means she can manage the business, set prices, and choose suppliers on her own. Next, she has full profit entitlement, which means she keeps 100% of the business profits. She also has control over capital. So she decides how many money is used in the business. Lastly, she has the right to accept or reject any business deals based on her own judgment. Now, moving on to her duties. She must ensure legal compliance, which means following all laws like business registration, licenses, and food safety rules. She also responsible for tax obligations, where she must declare her income, pay tax properly. Next, she has contractual obligations. Even verbal agreements must be honored, especially with customers and suppliers. She must also take care of consumers' protection and data privacy, ensuring food is safe and customer information is protected. Conclusion: as a sole proprietor, she has a full control and benefits, but also full responsibility. So, understanding both the rights and duties is very important to run the business legally and successfully.
Liability issues. Nasi Lemak business operates as a sole proprietorship, so the owner and the business are legally the same entity. This means the business has personal liability. If the business has debts or legal issues, Puan Nurul Akma is personally responsible and her personal assets may be used to settle the business liabilities. Therefore, it is important for the owner to comply with the legal requirements including annual tax returns, tax liability, business licensing and employment law to reduce legal and financial risk. Complaints of obligations. As a sole proprietorship, Nasi Lemak small business has several complaints obligation. It is not required to file an annual return or audited financial statements, but proper financial records must be maintained. The owner must submit an annual income tax return to LHDN. The business should also monitor future e-invoicing requirements and assess the registration if it meets the required threshold. In addition, the business must obtain a valid business or hawker license from the local authority and comply with food safety and hygiene regulation. Since the business is managed only by the owner and the husband, employment-related obligations are currently not applicable.
I will explain the consumer protection obligation that apply to Puan Nurul Akmal's business under the Consumer Protection Act. First, the business must practice truth and transparency in selling. This means all advertisements should be honest. Second, the business must provide clear pricing. All pricing, including extra charges, should be clearly displayed before customer make a purchase. Third, the business must ensure product safety and quality. Food should be prepared in a clean and hygienic environment. Fourth, customer have the right to request refund or replacement if they receive spoiled food. Next, the business should use fair contract terms, especially when accepting advance orders. If customer information such as names or phone numbers is collected for orders, the business must protect the information and use it only for business purposes. Lastly, if the business starts selling online in the future, it must follow e-commerce obligation by displaying complete business information such as business name, contact number and location so customer can make informed decisions. Now I will explain the Malaysian laws that apply to Puan Nurul Akmal's business. First, the business is registered under the Registration of Business Act 1956 with SSM. This makes the business legal and allows it to operate as a sole proprietorship. Second, under the Income Tax Act 1967, the business owner must keep proper business records, report business income and pay income tax according to the law. Third, the Food Act 1983 and Food Regulations 1985 ensure that the food is prepared in a hygiene and clean environment. This helps protect customers' health and food safety. The business must also follow the Local Government Act 1976 by obtaining a valid business license from the local authority before operating. If the business collects customer information such as names or phone numbers, it must follow the Personal Data Protection Act 2010 and keep the information safe and private. Lastly, if the business hires employees in the future, it must follow the Employment Act 1955 and contribute to EPF and SOCSO to protect employees' right and welfare.
Now I will explain the consequences of non-compliance. Non-compliance means failing to follow legal requirements set by authorities. For a small food business like Puan Nur Akmas Nasi Lemak Enterprise, compliance with SSM registration, local council licenses, food safety rules and tax requirements is really important. If a business does not comply, it may face several consequences. Firstly, the business may receive fines, compounds, or enforcement notices. In serious cases, the authorities may temporarily or permanently close the business. Secondly, repeated offences may lead to legal action, prosecution, and higher penalties. For a sole proprietorship, the owner, which is Panur Akma, has unlimited liability. This means the owner is personally responsible for business debts, fines, and legal claims using their own asset. Lastly, non-compliance can damage the business reputation. In the food industry, poor hygiene and legal problems can reduce customer trust, decrease sales, and affect the future of the business. Next, I will explain about the consequences of non-compliance for small and medium-sized enterprises in Walling. SMEs are more affected because they usually have limited financial resources and depend on daily sales. Even a small fine or temporary closure can create financial problems. For food businesses, hygiene violations can cause serious damage. If authorities find problems, the business may be closed and customer may lose trust. Many SMEs in Mualim are also family-run businesses. Some owners may lack legal knowledge causing issues such as failure to register the business, poor record keeping, or misunderstanding tax responsibilities. In the long term, non-compliance can prevent business growth. It may become harder to get loans, government support, or expand the business. Therefore, the legal requirement is really important to ensure the survival and success of the small and medium sized enterprise in Mualim. Now, I will explain some local case examples related to non compliance. The first case is Liao Yu versus SSM in 2015. The accused provided false information during business registration. This case resulted in legal action and possible penalties such as fines and imprisonment. The second case is SSM versus Dhanasilan Analek, originated in 2017. The owner used a false business address during registration and was fined around 4,000. This shows that providing incorrect information can affect business credibility. The third case is the Johor Eatery closure order case in 2026. A food premises continued operating after receiving a closure order due to hygiene problems. The operator was fined around 4,000 and faced business closure risk. The final example is Manjung Municipal Council versus food premises operators in 2025. Several food premises received compounds for hygiene offences and license issues, with one premises being temporarily closed. These cases shows that business must follow registration, licensing, and food safety requirements to avoid fines, closure, and damage to their reputation.
Now, I will present the objectives of our legal clinic. First, our objective is to increase understanding of legal requirements and business registration. We want Puan Nurul Hakma to know how to legally operate a sole proprietorship, including license and compliance under Malaysian law. Second, we aim to improve awareness of tax responsibilities and record keeping. This includes understanding the importance of keeping transactions, records, and paying taxes to avoid legal and financial problems. Third, we focus on food safety, hygiene, and consumer protection. This is to ensure that all food prepared and sold in safe and meets legal standards. Fourth, we encourage the use of proper business documentation and agreements. Good record keeping can help reduce misunderstandings and dispute with suppliers and customers. Lastly, we aim to help identify legal risks and understand consequences of non-compliance. This helps the business owner avoid fines, penalties, and other legal issues. I'm going to explain the activities carried out in our legal clinic. First, we conducted an online mini legal talk and live Q&A section. In this section, we shared basic legal knowledge in simple terms, focusing on topics like business registration, hygiene, agreements, and record keeping. The Q&A section also allowed the participant to ask questions and get real-life guidance. Second, we provided a digital legal compliance checklist. This checklist was shared to WhatsApp in PDF format. It helps the participant monitor important areas such as hygiene, agreements, consumer protection, and record keeping in daily business operations. Third, we created a digital infographic. This is a one page visual guide that highlights key legal responsibilities like registration, food safety, agreements, customer protection, and record keeping. It serves a quick and easy reference. Lastly, we used a feedback form and legal awareness pledge. The feedback form helps us evaluate the section, while the pledge encourages the participant to stay committed to following legal requirements and improving their business practices.
Student role and legal education. Each group member had a specific role to ensure the legal clinic was successful. The first member acted as the coordinator, managing the planning and communication. The second member conducted legal research and prepared the legal content. The third member designed the digital complaints checklist and infographic. The fourth member was the presenter, delivering the legal talk and handling the Q&A session. The fifth member prepared the online feedback form and evaluated the participants' responses. Overall, all group members worked together to ensure the legal clinics was well organized and beneficial to the participants. So the next part, communicating legal concept in plain language. Our group explained legal concept using simple and easy to understand language instead of technical legal terms. We also used real life example related to the participants' business to make the information more practical. In addition, we prepared visual aids such as infographic and complaints checklist to make the content clear. During the Q&A section, the participants was encouraged to ask questions and receive immediate clarification. This approach helped the participant to understand well. 4C, which is challenges in explaining legal responsibilities. One of the main challenges was that the participant had no formal legal background, so we had to simplify legal concept using easy language. Another challenge was the participant's perception that legal compliance is difficult and time consuming. We explained that simple practices such as keeping records and maintaining hygiene are easy to implement. We also faced language and understanding barriers, so we used practical examples, repeated key points, and answered questions to ensure the participants understood the information. So the next part D, importance of legal awareness for SME. Legal awareness is important because it helps SME understand their legal responsibility and avoid penalties or business distributions. It also encourages ethical business practices such as honesty, fair dealings, and compliance with food safety regulation. By following the laws, SME can build customer trust, improve business credibility, and achieve long-term sustainability. In rural areas like Mualim, legal clinics play an important role in educating and supporting small business owners.
So next is our reflection and community impact. From this project, we gain valuable experience working with a real SME owner. We learned that many small businesses focus on daily operation and may overlook legal compliance, so practical legal education is very important. One challenge was explaining legal concepts in a simple way. We overcome this by using easy to understand language and providing practical solutions. This project increased legal awareness, encourage better business compliance, and help reduce legal risk while improving customer trust. For future improvement, we recommend organizing more workshops, working with government agency, and providing simple legal guides for SMEs. Overall, this project shows that legal knowledge helps small business operate legally and grow successfully.